following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
To the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Yo, it's the Adventures of Pipeman here on W4CY Radio, and I'm very excited about today's show because we're going to talk about a bunch of things, and we have a very special guest. We are going to talk about the Democratic National Convention a little bit. We don't want to talk a lot of politics, but maybe this guest wants to give us some insight to the presidential election, because I think Pipeman is going to win the election personally. But also, we're going to talk about Rocklahoma coming up at the end of this month, Labor Day weekend, on the PipemanRadio tour. We're going to talk about that picture to the behind me. There is a picture of me and a German at the Holocaust Memorial. Me as a Jew, obviously, with a German, because you know what? Even the Germans are embarrassed by the Holocaust. And for all you people out there, like whether you're in Louisiana or something, well, it didn't happen. The Holocaust did happen. But I'm more excited about our guest, Dr. Linda Salvin. She is a renowned worldwide psychic, radio host, podcaster, and just amazing healer and helper of people. So first, let's bring on the Pipe Nuts, Rebel and Juan. And let's bring on Dr. Linda Salvin.
Hi, everybody. Hi. Thank you very much, Dean. It's good to see you, Rebel. Hi, Juan. See you.
So Rebel, I had to put that picture up there. It's the one over my left shoulder right there. Yes. To prove that the Holocaust did happen. I know people in your state believe it didn't, but it did.
All right. That's something that nobody should be able to deny because it did happen. But without everybody trying to erase history, we're never going to learn from it.
Oh, 100%. And that's why the Jews always believe, people will say stuff about the Jews and they'll say, because Jews say never forget. And they say negative things about that. But if you forget, you're destined to repeat it. And I think we're seeing a lot of repeats of stuff like the Holocaust here and now. And I want to get all your opinions, and then we're going to get into meat and potatoes. But, okay, so we have this Democratic National Convention. We had the Republican National Convention. And one thing I can say, set politics aside, Democrat aside, Republican aside, all I want right now in this world, especially from the leader of our country, is somebody that's going to create a positive message, unite us, and unite the world, and we can stop all this bull crap. So I don't know. There's been a lot of positive messages happening recently that, you know what? I have to agree with it. So let's go first to you, Dr. Linda, and what's your take on how the world should be right now with politics and in our country, and how it relates to the messages, the psychic messages that you may be getting about what's coming in the future?
Thank you, Dean. I'm Jewish, and I can attest that the Holocaust was real because I grew up listening to the stories. My grandmother and grandfather escaped Poland. They were first cousins. He came here first, went back to get her, and it was months later that I think her 11 brothers, sisters, parents, and then cousins and aunts and uncles were all killed in the camps. They were from Rodham, Rodham, Poland, and they ended up in Auschwitz, and some went to Dachau. And anybody that denies it, as time goes on, as we know, yes, they're eradicating our history. But I remember growing up with the depressed grandmother. My grandfather committed suicide. He lost his family. I mean, there's a lot of tragedy just in our family and with the background of the Holocaust, as with you. Unfortunately, I personally am getting a lot of, you want to call it download, that's the new term these days, all the spiritual, psychic stuff. There is a fine line taking place that the average person doesn't see beyond the propaganda, which is bothering me, because there's a lot of rhetoric that's similar to Hitler and some Chinese influencers, and it's coming out more conservative than is being portrayed to us. And this is what scares me, because I think it's a show. I think it was a well done convention, but I've done enough background reading and observing and listening that it is the show. But behind the scenes, it's kind of like when Toto found the Wizard of Oz behind see the big Oz, and we're going to be afraid to walk down the yellow brick road, but we got to get home, right? And then there's this little man driving the wheel, steering everybody home, and he was exposed. And that's kind of what I see here, that we're being masked, we're being fooled again. My fear is some of what I've been reading comes true. Now, Dean, I think I told you this months ago, and I'm not going to, I don't want to get politically involved, but in 2016, when Trump was elected, I was coming down the stairs of my house then, and I had a vision of concentration camps all over again. And I called my dad. I said, there's going to be concentration camps in the future. What are you talking about? They're here now. And now they're called work camps. Or if one side feels you're too conservative or you're not in the mold, they're threatening to put people in camp. Now, if that's propaganda, I don't know yet. You reread about Project 2025, it's in there. The family structure will be changing. Politics will be changing. Ownership of even your own properties will change. If you have the patent, let's say you have a patent, the government they're stated they want to take over the patent so that everything is owned by the government. So there's a, for lack of a better word, communist bent. Where
what's interesting?
Control. I don't know how to say it without getting in trouble.
What's interesting about what you just said? What's interesting about the ownership thing is that I said a long time ago when we had the real estate issues back in the first
708.
Yep, back then. And all you have from an economic, since I'm a former financial planner, I looked at a purely economic situation. Okay. So basically what happened is the banks gave out all these bad mortgages that caused people to foreclose, but then the banks failed. And who bailed out the banks but the government? And so then when your house foreclosed by the bank, it was actually foreclosed by the government, and the government now owns the property.
And the same thing with the automobile industry. Remember when they bailed out the auto? So we think we're being given help. The truth is it's going more towards government control. Now, the next thing I've been reading about, which is really frightening, it's not new, but it's been in the works for at least several years, is food famine. You start watching your markets, you're going to see less and less food on certain shelves. Coming out of the Democratic promise is a food rationing program. And I was reading something the other day. Now, this is where I get a little overwhelmed because I don't know what's true and it could happen. So don't quote me on it. But if we go into food rations, some markets may even have military people with guns. And if you don't like what you're being given, they can take you away or bust you and take you to camp. This is what people are talking about on some of the real off-center channels. I've read it in certain blogs, and there's some pretty noted professionals speaking out. Then you got the other side that says it's never going to happen, and that Trump's going to win. Now, I'm not sure who's going to win. I did call the Obama election many years ago on a radio station here in LA, on an FM station. I still have the tape of it. But there's a prophecy. There's a documentary out called The Last Prophecy, and a man by the name of Trey Smith did an amazing research project over time about a prophet by the name of Kim Clement. He's deceased now. He was killed because he told the truth. But you can find The Last Prophecy like on Rumble and whatever, but there's a whole prophecy that came about in 2007 maybe, about the Twin Towers, what had happened, and then the rise and fall of the trumpet. And this whole, I didn't believe it. I had to watch it again, and I got more information recently because I've been telling people about this documentary. And it shows that there was this man who rises, falls, goes through a bunch of legal problems, disappears, and comes back. Could be we're going to see this whole drama, this whole theatrical thing taking place. I know people want Kamala because she's female. She's of color. She's currently in office. I personally never liked her when she was here in California. To me, she got some things done, but I'm still waiting to hear the meat of things. Now, as of yesterday, as you know, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who I think is brilliant when it comes to attacking politics, environment, health, family, etc., he's thinking of dropping out altogether and joining the Trump team, which would
see, that's the whole problem.
So I don't understand. It's always, we don't know what to believe.
That's my whole problem with the whole thing. That's why I say what I do. Is like, to me, all the politicians are on the same team, and it ain't mine. It ain't my team.
No, it's all about them and the money. It's money. It's
money,
control,
power,
and money. It's always that way, just like during the Holocaust when Hitler rose to power, but he brainwashed millions to kill millions.
Well, there are very, very much similarities.
That's what's starting to become scary, Dean, and I don't want to admit
Here's what's scarier. The people I know in Germany look at us and they're shaking their head because
we've been there, done that.
They are so liberal now because of what happened, and because they're so embarrassed of what happened. And they're looking at us and they're like, yeah, I recognize that scenario. And so let's find out the Louisiana perspective.
Yeah, because can I just say one more thing? Because it came up yesterday, where Kamala is touting strength through joy. If you Google strength through joy, you're going to find out it was used during the Nazi regime. She's repeating slogans. Strength through joy. You can find it on Google.
Interesting. So what's the Louisiana perspective, Rebel?
I cannot speak for the whole state of Louisiana. And I can honestly say I have rules. I don't do politics, religion, or me. So therefore...
Do you do presidents?
If the right one comes along.
Okay. So go ahead. Continue.
I just... things are... It's a hell in a handbasket and getting worse. And it's because we don't learn from history. They play these certain cards to deal with, and this is all pun intended. They play certain cards to deal with individuals. And every time a card comes out of their deck, they're playing people. And sometimes they need to pull a few cards to play the right people to distract everybody.
It is a distraction. I think we're working over here, so this can take place behind the scenes. But as long as you're over here, don't see this.
It's all distractions always. They all follow the rule books of people like Sun Tzu, Machiavelli, and it's distraction. Say that again, Juan?
I was agreeing with you.
Yeah, I mean, the distraction, is an effective technique. Dividing is an effective, divide and conquer. And
we're more divided than we've ever been. There was so much chaos. not just between religion, race, finances, social economic. We've got so much homeless around the country, even though they're threatening to clean it up. And I mean, I'm here in LA. I don't know what it's like in Florida or Louisiana, but it's been bad.
I'm just happy that I'm not Juan's age, because I don't want to be here when he gets to be my age. What do you think, Juan? Juan, what is your generation? And since you're our leader of the Hispanic community, what will you say for what we're talking about?
In what regards?
Like, what do you think about what's going on in the world right now with history repeating itself, and what we're talking about? And what do you think about the whole idea of the fact that, things are changing? And do you think from your generation it's changing for the better or for the worse?
In a way, I think it's for the worse because of like where the market is going right now too. Like everything's getting more and more expensive for like living wise than how it used to be, when I was a kid, like say like after the 2008 market crash, like things were better economically. But right now, like it hasn't been affecting me at all, so I'm okay with it.
Well, inflation's going to get worse in the next
couple
of years. It's going to get harder.
Here's the thing, though, Linda. Okay, this is where I want people to be educated. You can't listen to what any of these politicians say, because their goal is to get you to vote for them. And they're going to say whatever they can, and they can't necessarily get things done that they say, even if they want to get them done. So, like, one of the things that was said recently is, if I get elected, as the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lower prices on everything. Well,
doesn't happen that first day.
People, it doesn't happen that way at all. Like, the president of the United States cannot literally lower prices. Okay. And for those of you that'll vote based on that, see, I'm not even talking about party at this time. What you people are voting based on
is what is being stated. The hope. That's why the female, well, she really isn't black. We know she is Indian and Jamaican, and yes, she's olive skinned or dark color, but technically she's not Afro-American.
Yeah, but see, not all black is Afro-American, because Jamaicans are not Afro-American.
No, but they're black in our world. Okay. Yeah. But that's the card she's playing. Female, black, minority, educated, came from middle class roots with a single mom. They're showing where she grew up. I think they presented her beautifully.
A lot of Republicans
don't trust it all.
I don't trust any of them. No. And the Republicans are flipping, because why? This Republican Party right now is not the Republican Party. It's not Reagan's Republicans. Okay, so that's
it's not when you and I were growing up.
No,
the parties don't exist, Dean. I'm older than
it's
you.
It's all a farce. It's all a farce, because the fact of the matter is, if you're going to come in with a campaign of I'm going to just lower prices, that's not a Republican viewpoint, nor is government intervening a Republican viewpoint. And again, that's where I think confusion goes, because that's not that's more Democratic.
She's saying it from the Democratic. She's going to put a price.
No, he said it. He said,
but she's saying it too, to limit the gouging. So, and then but that's when I was reading deeper, where they could do the food rationing and they could do the military at the markets. I mean, it depends how deep you go and which channel you're watching.
What did they do to the Jews? They starved them first. They didn't just put them in camps. They starved them first.
No, there was starvation. And unfortunately, I was in DC back in December, and I went to the Holocaust Museum. I couldn't handle it. Anytime I see the pictures from the Holocaust, I always wonder if any of those people I'm looking at were a relative of mine. I don't know, but I lost enough.
Can you cue up the Rocklahoma commercial? Because the reason why is it's coming up. I have in hand, well, right behind me in hand, some
Mhm.
wristbands for the weekend for Rocklahoma, Labor Day weekend in Oklahoma. It's America's #1 music party. Okay. And I'll tell you what, here's the contest. And you write into my socials, DM me on my socials. The contest here to win tickets is how, and this is a Danny Wimmer festival, how is the Holocaust related to 2 of the Danny Wimmer festivals? Now,
Wow.
let's see if my pipe nuts have any idea before we play the commercial. Rebel, no idea? Juan, no idea?
No idea. No.
Okay, so let's roll the commercial, and then what I'll do is I'll give the answer, and then people can DM me to win tickets to Rocklahoma. All right, let's do it. Roll it, Juan.
Rocklahoma. America's biggest Labor Day party is back with the loudest lineup yet. This August 30th through September 1st in Pryor, Oklahoma, with, for the first time ever, Avenged Sevenfold, Slipknot, Disturbed, Evanescence, plus A Day to Remember, Lamb of God, and many more. Passes and camping on sale now at rocklahoma.com, starting at $10 down.
Okay, so Dr. Linda, I'm going to give you a hint. All right, Juan, cue up the Aftershock commercial. Okay, so there's
which one?
Whichever, it doesn't matter. Aftershock,
Okay.
whichever Aftershock, the short one. All right, so Dr. Linda, there's a festival we cover in Sacramento, so that's close to your home there in
Yeah, more
California.
or less. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So here's the first hint for the contest. There is a band that hasn't played in 5 years that is playing 3 festivals on the Pipeman Radio Tour this year: Louder Than Life, Riot Fest, and then Aftershock. And this band, one of their most famous songs ever, is about Dr. Mengele. We all know who Dr. Mengele is. He was the angel of death during the Holocaust.
Oh, the one that killed everybody, of
and
course.
tortured
Yes.
people and did experiments. So that being said, think about that for a second, and let's see if anybody here can guess which band playing at Aftershock is related to the Holocaust, because they have that song, Angel of Death. Juan, roll it.
Aftershock, the biggest, loudest rock festival, is back with Iron Maiden. The West Coast exclusive Slayer performance. Motley Crue. Slipknot, Pantera, Disturbed, Judas Priest, Five Finger Death Punch, Evanescence, and many more. October 10th through the 14th at Discovery Park in Sacramento, California. Weekend and single day passes on sale now as low as $10 down at AftershockFestival.com.
Okay, so one more hint I'll give you, Dr. Linda, that the initial music in the very beginning of that commercial is by that band and is that song about the Holocaust. I know you're not going to guess it.
I'm not.
That's why it was fun. Rebel has an answer. Rebel's raised her hand. She has an answer. Let's go, Rebel. What is it?
Slipknot.
But thank you for playing.
No, it's the other one. I can't
You have
remember
to
the
say their name the right way. There is a certain way to say their name. Juan,
I know.
do you know the way to say their name?
Yes.
Slayer. Yeah, it's more like fucking Slayer. So it's Slayer.
Technically not part of their name, but yes.
Yes, but anybody you talk to who's a Slayer fan, when Slayer fans get together, that's exactly what they say. But here's the thing. Interesting history for you, Dr. Linda, and my pipe nuts, is that the guitarist of Slayer who passed away, who was the founder and wrote much of the music, was a World War II history buff.
Wow.
So much of Slayer's music, people think it's about the devil. People think it's death and destruction.
He was
And
telling
it
the
is.
truth. He was telling the truth of what happened.
He was talking about World War II and writing it in songs, and basically, talking not for it, but giving historical facts and against it. And that's why people need to listen to lyrics. And we had somebody here actually listening to a show that did guess it. And there it is.
Hey, country. It's nice to see you.
There it is. Slayer. Wow. Good answer. So I want to end the political part of the show and head over to more about Dr. Linda. But first, we have to play a certain commercial. And after we play this commercial, Dr. Linda, I want to find out if you'll vote for this person for president. Roll it, Juan.
Hey folks, this is Bill Clinton. I listen to W4CY.com. And just remember, I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Bring back the good old days, and I will have sexual relations with that woman. Vote Pipeman for Prez. So, Dr. Linda, I got to tell you how wacky a world we're living in is right now. In 2016, I literally, Ask Rebel, got 4 or 5 votes for president from my campaign and that commercial. Rebel, true? That's the sad state of affairs we're in.
Yes.
Okay.
You can write anybody in. But it's, you know what?
When the pipe man can get votes, America is going downhill. Okay. And so listen, all I know is it California? Okay. In California, if I were running for president, but I was registered in California, and if I was a convicted felon, could I vote for myself?
I think you can. I think the felons, I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't quote the laws, but I believe that there is a clause somewhere, because I've heard that question before, where you can. I don't know if you can actually be on the ballot, though, just like you have to be a United States citizen in order to, or you have to have been born in the United States.
No, that's why Trump can still run, because he is a convicted
He's a felon. But yeah,
he can vote for himself, because in Florida you can, but there are many states in this country where you can run for president. You just can't vote for yourself or vote, period. So how ridiculous is that?
The whole thing doesn't make sense, of course.
You can be a convicted felon and be president of the United States of America, but you can't vote. You can determine all the laws, send us to war, whatever you want to do.
Well, war is always about money.
Vote. Yeah,
it's always about the money.
Vote.
When I was first out of college, when I got my master's, my first job was General Dynamics, which builds military equipment and missiles and planes. They're huge in aviation, but it's all military. And I was working in the Pomona plant. I was the industrial hygienist for health and wellness, but I was learning that we're building the phalanx for the Navy, but we also had the F-15s in Dallas, which were the jets. So we would build something in the Dallas plant to ship overseas, from something with the Pomona plant to ship overseas, and they shoot each other. So we built everything for the other countries to use our weaponry and our missiles and our planes to fight each other. But we built them. And when I started to understand how that worked, because it's money, or the contracts, the Navy, the Air Force, whatever General Dynamics got at that time, if Iran was after Israel or Iraq or who, I don't remember who was fighting back then, but it was just a mind blower to think, well, they're building this for that country to destroy when this country hits them. And it's all our equipment. Even though we're supplying, Ukraine or Israel, we're always giving more and more planes, bombs.
Well, here's the interesting.
It makes no sense that we support the war, because we build most of the best technology and planes.
Well, here's the interesting thing.
I'm sorry,
when I was a kid, my grandmother told me about a book she read where basically every war since the beginning of time was planned ahead of time, planned who would win, who would lose, and who would get what.
It's the same thing in politics.
Mm-hmm.
It's already predestined unfortunately, I don't have the article anymore, but 3 years before Clinton became president in 90, whatever it was, 91, two, I had been associated with some people in like 88, and they showed me these newspapers that were talking about Bill Clinton, Hillary taking office in the early 90s after Bush and after this, and after it was already printed. But it was an underground, quiet kind of organization, I guess. I don't have any of that anymore. But it's all predetermined, whether it's the One World Order, the Illuminati, whatever you want to call whoever rules the world, it's already there. But again, like going back to the national conventions, whenever we see the conventions, it's their act, it's their show, just like a rock.
It's like a rock festival.
I was just going to say, just like your rock festivals, it's planned, it's rehearsed, it's prepared, and there's a show.
I was thinking about it when I was watching last night. Okay, I was thinking about, do Hillary, Michelle, and Barack all have to get their speeches approved by Kamala?
Oh, that I wouldn't know. I don't know. But
That's what I was thinking last night. Because think about it. They have to. It has to run by somebody first.
It has to go by somebody for approval, so they're
you
not
can't
out of
just
line to
have
follow
them
the
get
script.
up and say whatever. Like, I think it has to run by. Make sure it goes with the message. And here's my thought. And I want to know how many of you on here agree with me right now. I think Joe was going to drop out, and she was going to be the nominee. Was the plan all along?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And they just dropped it at the right timing. I mean, it was if it is a plan, it was a perfectly executed plan.
We didn't have a choice. This was given to us. We didn't have a choice this time. This is how it is, folks. Like it or leave it.
Right.
We don't have a choice.
And I think they knew they were going to do this from the very beginning, but
I do too.
Let's get Biden in there, get Trump
bait
going
everything
after Biden, and then boom, at the last minute, just
throw
like
Harris in there.
Just like the attack on Pearl Harbor. That's what this was like. The attack on Pearl Harbor. We don't see it
coming, and then all of a sudden, but then we're not listening so much on the news about the talking heads out there on all the channels and all the stations. And of course, we're inundated with the internet. There's so much to choose from. You don't know who to trust anymore. But
we do have to interrupt the show, though, for a very important news bulletin from a listener. Rebel, you better pay attention. This one's directed towards you.
Hi, Charles.
Oh, thank you.
Is that which number of the four? Is it 4 or 5, Rebel? Of the 4 or 5 boyfriends you have, which number is that one? That's number 4.
Number 2.
He's number 2.
No, he's number 2. I have 4.
What makes him number 2?
In order that they come in, I don't know.
So let me ask you a question. Okay. And Linda, I hope you don't get offended by this, but this is something we have to get out. Okay. Rebel.
Yes.
Did the person you performed fellatio on, who was in the KKK, did he deny the Holocaust?
No, I don't believe he did. He did. I didn't know that he was affiliated with that group until I did know, and then that was it. It was over.
Oh, and you know what? We have to do something. Juan, you need to cue us up some birthday music.
Birthday music?
Yes.
Whose birthday is it?
Not today, but there was somebody important's birthday a few days ago.
Yours?
So let me know when you're ready, Juan. No, not mine. Mine's not till October. I'm a Libra. You knew that.
Oh, that's right. We're in Leo.
Yeah.
No, we're going into Virgo. Yeah, we're almost into Virgo.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be a Leo or Virgo. I hate those people.
Okay. Although Leos should be pretty compatible with you, but that's another show.
Yeah, my dad was a Leo.
So is
yes,
mine.
that's
He
true.
just turned 95. We just had a big party. 95.
Wow, 95. That's
95.
amazing. I'm always in awe of people at 95. I hope I'm not living at 95, to be honest.
I'd like
'Cause
to
I've
be,
been
but
here
I
too
don't know
long
if we
already.
will. I don't
I've
know
been
if we
here too
will.
long already. And I don't want to see what's coming in the future.
But when we were young, we would say that. I think every generation has its own problem. Like when 1972, I was
100%.
able to vote, and I was in that first category in 1972 for 18-year-olds to vote. But there's always tumultuous times. There's always, oh my God, we're living in the worst time of history. But this is getting a little too close to what we've been through. That's why this is a little scarier, because we've got technology. And I don't know if people know this or not, but last year, you have to look it up, Biden signed off on, I don't know how many billions of dollars of anti-radiation medication.
Huh.
Now, why would he ask, I don't know if it was Pfizer, I don't know which group, which pharmaceutical company got the order, but why would he want anti-radiation meds available if he didn't know what is going to be coming? It was stated somewhere on an offshoot site that he put in this order. So I'm thinking, okay, what if we have a nuclear bomb, or what if we have the nuclear explosions?
I don't think we need a nuclear bomb.
We're not going to survive the radiation.
We have viruses, we have chemicals, we have food. Food's our weapon right now. Like the food we get in the United States, it's terrible. Did you find the birthday? Something birthday.
Yes.
Okay, let's roll it, Juan. So here it is. We have to say happy birthday to our residential Louisiana person, Rebel Medler.
When was your birthday, Rebel?
The 11th of August.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
What did the KKK dude get you for your birthday? Did he get you a white
I
gown?
don't see him anymore.
Oh, okay.
I've seen him in years.
Well, here's what I say. I say everybody listening to the show right now, including your super fans, Rebel, and your super fans too, Juan, and everybody needs to buy Rebel for her birthday some candles. Dr. Linda, do you have any idea where they can get those candles?
Yes, through me. Because Rebel loves my candles. The Wicks of Wisdom work like a prescription for your soul. And there's 3 candles per set with essential oils, herbs, and powders. They look like this, the different types of oils. And then I teach people how to become their own alchemist, where they're lighting the candles, putting words into the flame, and magic starts to happen, whether it's getting rid of a bad relationship or getting rid of negativity, bringing in money, opportunity, the love life. I've seen people get married. I've had amazing miracles with the health and wellness candles. When I was doing the show a couple of months ago, I had 2 women from 2 different lawsuits, 2 different states. Both of them were up for 20-year sentences, and they both got released without even bail. Their cases were thrown out. So we've got legal candles. So if anybody wants more information on real candle magic, it is real. It is real. I stay kind of under the wire right now. I'm not out there with the same marketing as a lot of people, because a lot of theirs out there don't work or are more commercialized. I do the real work. So if they're interested, then go to lindasalvin.com. It's all there. If they mention the show, they get 10% off. It's right there on the website.
Nice.
Thanks. The candles, they're these with oils. And then there's herbs and powders. I developed a line in 1999 when I was trained in candle magic. Didn't believe in it. And being Jewish, I was scared of it. But it goes into Kabbalah.
That's right. Here we go. There it is. Tell us about that.
The Kabbalah, I studied Kabbalah for a little while. It's very intense. And they even say that nobody under the age of 40 should even attempt to read it.
Yep.
And I still don't understand it, but it's the most mystical end of Judaism. It's beautiful. It's overwhelming. But when I was studying Kabbalah, and I had met a Hasidic rabbi, and Bob Dylan used to go to this one Hasidic Chabad for holidays. And this rabbi was loved by everybody. He passed away almost 10 years ago, I think, 9 years ago. But I showed him about my candles. And when I was on TV I had paid Kris Jenner to host a show before she got Keeping Up with the Kardashians. She won't talk about that. But Wicks of Wisdom work like a prescription for your soul. And I ran this by the rabbi. He loved what I was doing. And one day we went into class and you opened the book, the Zohar, and the topic's candles. Now, this is a 3,500-year-old scripture. I said, Rabbi, and he doesn't even have, he's not even looking at me. He goes, yes, Linda, it comes from somewhere. So candles well, what about me? Thanks, country. What do I look like, a dog? Everybody's getting, blondes have more fun. Blondes
Hey,
always
listen,
have more fun.
Rebel.
Blondes have more fun.
Rebel has her stalkers, okay?
I'm sure she does.
And I want to know if there are any candles that I can get, Rebel, that will ward off her stalkers.
Yeah, we have the rebound candles. But what's interesting, let me go back to the Kabbalah because this is really serious. Then we can go play. But in Kabbalah, Chakma is the word, which means that the soul of man is the candle. The candle represents the soul of man. So what I did with Wicks of Wisdom is teach people that the candle, which is the vessel, because it has to go into somewhere, is the soul of us. And the wick, when lit, is the flame, which is light, which is God. So I teach people how to write petitions. I teach people what to write on these circles that come with the kit. It goes into the flame. So you're giving God your wish, your need, your intention, and the magic starts. It's all in the oils and in the writing. The candle just happens to be the vessel to hold it while the magic happens. So the testimonies that are on my website and on the shows and the people that have been with me since 1999, it's all real. I didn't believe it till it started happening. I tested other people's lines. Nothing ever happened. I was introduced to a guy named Michael in LA. He trained me and I still buy from him. And he's still one of my mentors. But I keep it on the download because it's powerful stuff. I tell people, don't expect magic overnight. It takes time, but it will happen. It will happen. But yeah, in Kabbalah, so I when I was creating Wicks of Wisdom, I took some of the Kabbalistic ideas and it based on Santeria, which is
well, I was going to bring that up too. That's for
another
one.
religion.
That's for one.
It's another religion. Yeah, it's Latino or it can be Cuban, or the person who trained me is Cuban, but it's all from the Mediterranean and the Caribbean. And it's not voodoo, but voodoo people think is negative, but voodoo just means healing. Voodoo means healing.
Oh, Rebel performs voodoo because she's in Louisiana.
There's some real heavy duty voodoo down there. But I do the light work. I don't do dark work. I don't hurt people. I as many times as I'd like to clobber somebody. Yeah, I have a formula.
And see, Rebel, on the other hand, she always has this nice act, and she does
clobber
people.
I don't do harm to others. I don't do voodoo. Hoodoo is white magic.
Okay, so tell us what hoodoo is and who do you do. And
who are you doing this week?
And more importantly, since you personally love the Wicks of Wisdom, what can you tell us from your experiences and why all these listeners should buy you more Wicks of Wisdom?
Well, Wicks of Wisdom has proven itself to do what it needs to do. You should listen to old shows of Dr. Linda because you will hear testimony from people that it really, really does help. And all you got to do is follow the instructions she gives you.
Yep. And
it'll work out the way it's supposed to work out.
Yes, it does. And it even says in the book what it's all PDF file now, but when we were on TV and I had a different marketing thing going on, it'll even say that it's alleged. There's no promise. There is never a promise that it will work. But I would say over 85-90% of the time it does work if you follow directions. And it's not going to just be your first candle. You might need 2 or 3 sets to get the result. But if people stick with me, and as Rebel has known from working the show for a year, she heard people come on blindly, and we'd just start talking, and they would talk about their experiences, their magic, or their hopes, or what happened with their kids, or their legal situation, or finances, or buying a home, or their love life, whatever. I had one man from Texas. Years ago, his wife was bleeding vaginally and did not want a hysterectomy. Did the candle, she stopped bleeding. I had another woman with skin cancer in Seattle, went away. I cannot promise that this will cure people or heal people. It's alleged, but I have people that have come back to say, I did this, I burned that, this is my result. So, it's there if people want it. Even if you're skeptical, it will work if you just stay out of the results and give it some time.
And I can honestly say, because I've known Rebel a long time, and I've seen her since she started using the Wicks of Wisdom, and then all of a sudden she keeps getting these messages on all the shows of how pretty she looks, how beautiful she is. And I'll tell you, before the Wicks of Wisdom, she was looking kind of haggard and disheveled, and so after the Wicks of Wisdom, it was like the transformation of Cinderella.
I would have said Fiona, but sure.
Yeah, Fiona too.
It's like Fiona in the morning. Yeah.
So we're running out of time here. So Dr. Linda, can you give out all of your information, how people connect with you on socials, on the web, get the Wick of Wisdom, get your coaching, get your healing, get everything you have?
I am a psychic healer and a medium. After surviving a plane crash back in 1981, I opened up psychically and got into radio and healing people for 3 decades now. So if you just go to lindasalvin.com, my name, as you see it right here on the screen, .com, you'll find me. You can find me on Facebook at Linda Salvin, and on YouTube, it's Dr. Linda Salvin. It's all there. You just put in my name, and I'll pop up somewhere. On X, I think it's Psychic Linda PhD. TikTok is Psychic Linda PhD. It's just put my name out there, but it's easiest if you just email me or call me from the website, or my toll-free number is 888-509-1077, or go to the website, send me an email, and I'll respond. I'll do whatever you can. Readings, healings, channelings, candles, health products.
And I have 4 psychic questions I want to ask you before we go. First one is, will Juan ever shave his beard?
I'm going to say by next April, yes. Now, I was told years ago, men who wear beards, I think it's sexy sometimes, but it's also hiding, where they don't really want to be exposed. It's a vulnerable thing. I think when you got the 5 o'clock shadow like you do, that's a little different. But when men are wearing beards, they're really hiding something, and it's like having a different persona. So the vulnerability or the handsomeness, Juan, I think it's time you kind of let it all out.
What's funny
I'm going to say
this?
by spring, if not sooner. What? You've been thinking about it.
My life partner is always telling me like, "Oh, you should shave your beard. You should shave your beard." Like, and this has become like more and more often now. So.
That was my psychic thing.
I think you're hiding your face, and it's time to let it all out.
Hiding right now is like that extra neck part.
That double chin.
That gets worse
because I gain weight.
So okay, so Rebel. This one's about Rebel. When is Rebel gonna grow hers?
Her beard?
Yes.
I told you. I tried. I was going up for that part in the Greatest Showman, and I didn't get it.
I have a question for you, Rebel.
She needs more hormones.
It's very important, and there's a reason I'm asking this question. Are you a handful of a bitch?
I can be. Who said that?
I just want to make sure this listener is right. Is this listener right, Rebel?
I can be, and she's going to find out soon.
So, all right. And the final question is, how many women am I going to be in a tent with and different tents, not one tent, but different tents at Rocklahoma.
Between 6
Well.
and 10.
6 and 10. That's not a great festival. Usually it's more than that, but I'll take it.
No, I think you're going to have, since you're slowing down, I think you're going to want more quality time rather than it's going to be quality versus quantity.
Yeah, outside the festival. But I think in the festival, I have
25,
a goal.
30.
In order to keep up my reputation, I have goals I have to meet.
30,
Okay?
all 30 of them. They'll just be standing room only, and
So,
they have to form
Let's
a line
close
outside.
out. Let's close out the show with offering Groupons for Rocklahoma. Juan, can we offer some Groupons for Rocklahoma right now?
Sure, we actually do have one available. Here's the commercial for it.
Are you tired of the same old bed and breakfast? Come visit the Pipe Cave, where you can service the Pipe Man all night long, and then serve the Pipe Man breakfast.
And then get the hell out.
That's the Pipe Man Groupon. The Groupon special is normally $1.99, but today it's on sale for $99. Just call into the show right now. 561-623-9429. And you too can have the Pipe Man Groupon. I had the Groupon. You should too.
Okay, I'm going to add one last thing here, and that is, if you vote Pipe Man for Prez, I will give you one free Pipe Man Groupon. That is my campaign. Groupons for everybody that votes for the Pipe Man. Forget the other candidates. This is the best offer you're going to get. Okay? But serious note, thank you, Dr. Linda, for coming on our show and adding some actual content to the show instead of the rest of the bull crap. Okay. And actually giving us some information, because my listeners are not used to getting any information. We keep them in the blind so they can vote for the wrong person. Pipe Man. And but thank you very much. Everybody, you do have to check out Dr. Linda Salvin and everything that she does. You won't be sorry. Don't check out Rebel, because you will be sorry. And Juan, thanks for being a good sport and hanging out with us idiots over here.
And next time we see him, he'll be without the fuzz. And
I think he would look weird without a beard. Like,
well, because you're not used to seeing him clean shaven.
Yeah, exactly. When I shaved my beard for the first time, my kids were like, they were like, ew, grow it back.
You shocked him.
So, but it was a great show. Thanks to Dr. Linda Salvin. No thanks to me at all. And I ruined the show, but she did a great job. And any final words from our pipe nuts?
You guys have fun.
You're so good at not having dead air, pipe nuts.
Well, you guys have fun.
Okay.
I just would like people to really do some research as to what's going on with the election, even though people are fascinated, excited, hyped up. Oh my God. A lot of
they
it's
did. I'm going to leave
show.
it on this note. Tune in next week and every week at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, The Adventures of Pipeman here on W4CY Radio, W4CY.com. But the reason why is, to your point, Dr. Linda, they just found out there's life on Mars. I wonder what that's all about. I wonder what's that all about.
Been like that forever with the. I think that's why Bezos and Musk and all those guys are trying to get there, because they know it's another community. They already know there's life.
Oh, we already got stuff going on. I'm a firm believer they're on the other side of the moon. We can't see.
No, it's all technology. Yeah,
we're not going there every couple months for no reason. We're going there because we have to bring back more supplies. That's why. And if you want to go to Mars with the Pipe Man, tune in next week, because we're going to talk about Siri and Alexa and how they're going to get the Pipe Man to Mars. And we're going to have a threesome. Me, Siri, and Alexa. It's going to be awesome. Tune in next week to The Adventures of Pipe Man, where it's just going to be a crap show, but tune in anyway. Thanks for listening. Roll it, Juan.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.